in the EU are doing some serious reflecting today after voters sent a clear message over the weekend that in Germany, Luxembourg and Belgium, those traditional parties suffered major losses and erosion of support as voters turned to the fringes. The biggest shake-up was in Bavaria, where preliminary results showed that the ruling Christian Social Union won the most votes but lost its absolute majority. For only the third time since the Second World War, it will have to share power. The far-right anti-immigration Alternative for German party is projected to enter state parliament for the first time, while the Green Party will the real success story, more than doubling its support to become the second largest political force in southern Germany. This afternoon, we heard from Angela Merkel, who struck a conciliatory tone, declaring that lessons have to be learned. Let's have a listen.
Und deshalb ist meine Lehre aus dem gestrigen Tag, dass ich auch als Bundeskanzlerin dieser großen Koalition stärker dafür Sorge tragen muss, dass dieses Vertrauen da ist und damit auch die Resultate unserer Arbeit sichtbar werden. Und das werde ich auch mit allem Nachdruck tun.
Angela Merkel speaking a little earlier on. Brian, let's start with you. Just kind of sum up what we take away from this election. The result was expected, but it's still pretty big news, isn't it?
It's big news if you look at what's happened in terms of individual parties. But when you look at left-right blocs, not much changed. When you add together the numbers in terms of who shifted where, there really is very little movement there. And this is going to be very interesting for the European elections as well, because we do expect that no one party is going to dominate next time. But Bavaria teaches us that there's a lot of coalition building still to be done.
There is one party, though, that's taken a very significant hit, the SDP. Why?
It's difficult to say, but what we can say is that there is a risk factor within this government. This is clearly the CSU. From the beginning on, they tried to do their own policy, to do their own issues, and that was mainly linked to the election yesterday in Bavarian elections. And we know that the CSU is everything doing for these kind of regional elections every 5 years, and that's the reason why I'm telling that this is a risk factor. And now this risk factor, they brought it so far with the disputes in the last month, in particular of this, we call it Bundesverfassungsschutz, the protection of the Constitution, the chief of this authority. And this was, I guess, one more important instance for the problem.
There are definitely internal pressures and disputes within the SDP in Bavaria, but that's not to say that obviously this is also part of a wider trend that we've seen where the SDP essentially getting hammers.
Yes, I don't want to say that this is the only reason for our failure. To be honest, we have a lack of credibility for a long time now, and this is directly dealing and linked to the Grand Coalition issues. And as we might remember, 1 year ago we had the big question to answer: should we go once again into the Grand Coalition or not? And we asked the members, and they said with 67%, oh, let's go. So that makes our life really difficult.